Hello friends, welcome. Friends, today for the first time in the evening I am recording a video. Generally I don't record video in the evening. Always I do it in the morning. But it is important because why? Because the budget document has been presented and it has taken me a while to update my existing application which I had created just before the budget. So without wasting any time, let's go to my application. Now this is a desktop based app which gives you a lot of empowerment to look at the budgetary numbers, the Government of India's budgetary numbers from various in angles. All the statements, which is account summaries, tax statement, non-tax statements, non-debt details, expenditure details, subsidy details, financial details. Financing means how the subsidy will be, how the deficit will be financed. All these details are presented in this app. Now, since this app contains a certain structure which cannot be changed, so it took me a while to map the budgetary numbers into this app so that this app can tell the story. And purpose of this video is to take you through the story on numbers. What is that we are going to focus on? How this budget is going to be is different from the earlier budget which was announced in February 2024, as well as with the budget which was announced in the earlier years. The viewers and the listeners who are interested can go up to FY 17-18. So this data is available up to FY 17-18 on a monthly basis. There are two bars here. The bottom bar is the budgetary estimate and the top bar is going to give you the performance of the government on a monthly basis. So the bottom bar is budgetary estimate, which is generally remains constant over the year, and the top bar is the performance on a monthly basis. People who have used this app will know that there are a lot of buttons and which you can basically run to play this numbers. So these numbers will move and will give you a very good idea as to how the numbers have been changing over a period of time. But I am not going to waste any time doing this in this video. So what I am going to do is I am going to go into these tabs, these drop down menus, and talk about how this budget is different from the earlier budget which was presented in February 2024. So what I will do, I will go straight here, right? In the last time index, and since I have two buttons here, which is previous and next, this will give me a lot of flexibility to look at the numbers, right, with behind as well as in past as well as in future. So let's do the following. Let's go previous, right? So when I go previous, I will go straight to 31st May 2024 for account summary. Why 31st May 2024? Because this is the data which is available in the government's account general's website. So I have accumulated this data and I have the data completely displayed, and the June month's data is not available. So for the budgetary data, what I have done is I have tagged that data with March 31st 2025, right? Because that is the last year data, because this is budgetary estimate and the performance numbers are not available, which is represented here as NAN. So I have used the last month of this financial year to present the budgetary estimate data. Now let's do the following. Let's go one step backwards. Now what you will see the budgetary estimate numbers of February 2024 for revenue received, tax revenue net, non-tax revenue received, capital received, recovery of loans, other received, total received, revenue expenditure, interest payment, capital expenditure, loan disbursed, fiscal deficits, etc. This will give you a fair good of understanding how to compare the data, because you have the percentage of GDP data right here for each and every metric, right, presented here. So if you look at, the Government of India said that the fiscal deficit in this current budget, which is 16.13 lakh crores, comes out to be 4.9% of the GDP. So the number matches, right? Now if I go one step behind, you will find that the earlier budget, which was presented in February 2024, the fiscal deficit was 5.12%. Now let's compare all the numbers. So if you look at from an absolute point of view, the revenue received was 30.01 lakh crores. Now if I press next, now the revenue received has increased by from 30.01 lakh crores, which is 30 lakh crores roughly, to 31.29 lakh crores. So there has been a revenue increase of 1.28 lakh crores increase. Note this number. This is very, very important. However, you will interestingly notice that the tax revenue net has decreased. Look at this. In the earlier budget number, which is 26.02, which is May 31st, 2024, because this gives you the budgetary estimate of February 2024, the tax revenue net of the government was 26.02 lakh crores. Now, in this budget, the tax revenue number has gone down by roughly around, let me just see the number, earlier number was 26.02 lakh crores, and this number has gone to 25.83, and roughly 20,000 crores or 20,000 crores of rupees of decrease in tax revenue net. This is important. Note this number, 20,000 crores of decrease in tax revenue net. But you will notice that the total received has still increased. Why? Let's go back and see. This is 32.07 lakh crores. Now if I go previous, you will see that the number has increased to from 30.8 lakh crores, which was in the earlier budgetary estimate. This number has increased to 32.07 lakh crores, right? So there is a 2 lakh crores of increase. Look at this, 2 lakh crores of not 2 lakh, 30.8, and this number is how much? This number is 32.07, right? So roughly around, you can say more than 1 lakh crores of increase. From where that number is coming? This number is coming from non-tax revenue. This is important because if you look at the previous budgetary estimate, it was only 4 lakh crores. And now if I do next, this number becomes 5.46 lakh crores. So the gist of this whole story is that the RBI's dividend, which the government of India got from RBI, which was a windfall RBI profit because of investment which RBI has made, that has bailed the government out and helped them to reduce the next tax revenue. So the government has given some kind of leeway on tax revenue, which they were able to do because of this RBI's dividend, which falls in the non-tax revenue bucket. Right. Now look at capital expenditure. The capital expenditure still stays at 11.11 lakh crores. So if you look at that capital expenditure, I go into the details of the expenditure, you will see that there is no change in capital expenditure. This number remains the same. So if I go previous, you will see this number remains the change. Its number remains the same. There has been no change. However, interest payments obligation, if you look at 11.9 lakh crores in the earlier budget of February 2024. Now there has been interest payment. The government projection is low, which is 11.63 lakh crores. This I find is risky. I do not know how government has projected interest payment in a financial year where the interest rates are high, inflation is high, and there is no way the government will be able to bring down the policy rates. So if the policy rates are not going to be down, though the fiscal deficit has decreased, that I understand, but the overall debt of the government does not decrease. It is still going to be around 176 lakh crores, right? So the overall debt of central government, whatever interest that you are paying is not on the fiscal deficit, it is on the overall debt, and that debt is not going to change significantly because the change in fiscal deficit is only marginal. And for that, you may take 1 lakh crores of extra, market borrowing. So look at this number. The fiscal deficit earlier was how much? 16.85 lakh crores. And now it is how much? It is around 16.13 lakh crores. There is a small decrease. There is not much. So I find this interest payment projection of the government pretty risky. So this number may bust, and government may have to allocate more numbers. So this is a very, I would say, optimistic kind of projection. This is very risky, right? So let's look at that. Then I don't think that anything else to be discussed in this particular chart, which is the summary statement. And you can play with this number. You can go behind and see how the numbers have changed, because the government budget document only gives up to FY23. Now you can actually go and look at and play this till FY 17-18. So you can get a very good visibility and look at this the percentage GDP number, right? So now, because we have got less time, so let's go look at the tax details, which is important, because as I told you, and for tax detail, because I don't have the budgetary estimate numbers in the Auditor's General website, so what I have done is that I'm going to use a yearly time scale. Now, in the yearly time scale, if I go previous, because I am in 31st March 2025, if I do previous, and you see the total gross tax revenue is 38.4 lakh crores. Now, why there is a difference between gross tax and the net tax? Because if I go into the summary statement, you will find that our revenue received on taxation is considered as, is shown as 25.83 lakh crores, right? That is what, this is because of assignment to states. Now look at this number. Let's go into tax detail, and you will find that 38.4 lakh crores, if you subtract from 38.48 lakh crores, 12.47 lakh crores, you will get roughly this number, which we were talking about here in the account summary. This is the net tax. The number you will get here. This is the number, right? You will get roughly that number, right? Sorry, this number, 25.83 lakh crores is the number you will get, right? So let's look at the tax revenue. Now, what you see is that if I go previous, that is on 31st March 2024, in this I don't have the February number, because the CGA website does not have the February number. So I have to compare with the earlier financial year number. So you look at the earlier financial year, the gross revenue was 34.65 lakh crores. And this year we are talking about an increased receipt of taxation, which is significant compared to the earlier year. On a percentage GDP term, the collection is 11.67%, and the previous year it was 11.73%, which is pretty strange, because our GDP base has increased significantly. Because what the government has done, they have taken a nominal GDP growth of around 10.5% from the earlier financial year. So they are again optimistic on the nominal GDP, which is coming out to be the number. I'll tell you the number. The number is 329.18 lakh crores. Because of that, this number has gone down. If you go here, if I do next, you'll see that from 11.73 it has got to 11.67% of the GDP, even though there is a higher collection, because of the base is higher, right? Now let's look at the corporation tax. The corporation tax is 10.2 lakh crores, the budgetary estimate for 31st March 2025, which is the current budget which the government of India has presented. Now if I do previous, you will see it was 9.11 lakh crores, so there is an increase. From a percentage point of view, if I see 3.08% of the GDP, and it is slightly higher, not much. Income tax, 11.87 lakh crores for the current budget. If I go previous, it is 10.11 lakh crores. So government is projecting a higher income tax collection, and I presume that this is because of the capital gain increase of from 10% to 12.5%. I think the capital gain will fall in this particular bucket. Now, if you look at, therefore, it has increased now. If you see percentage of GDP, it was earlier 3.42%. Now it has gone to 3.61%. So this is a significant jump. Look at this, 10.11 lakh crores to 11.87 lakh crores, right? Now, goods and service tax in this budget, 10.62 lakh crores, and in the earlier financial year budget, it was 8.21 lakh crores. So again, the goods and service tax, the numbers have increased. Assignment to state, and you can play with this, because I'm going to share the link of this tool, and you can play with this number. You can yourself see, right, what is going on. Assignment to state, if I place next, there has been increase 12.7 lakh crores compared to what we saw in the earlier financial year. So this is regarding the tax details. Now let's look at the non-tax details, because there the significant increase has happened. Now if I go to non-tax detail, again I choose year end. Now I can here choose not year end, I can choose month end, because here I have got the budgetary estimate numbers and the monthly numbers also in the CGA website. So what I will do, I will go straight here at the end, and then I will do previous. Now what you see, 5.46 lakh crores, right, which is 1.66% of the GDP. Now if I do previous, it is 4 lakh crores estimate in the February budget. So see, there is a significant jump from 4 lakh crores to 5.46 lakh crores, 1.46 lakh crore jump. That actually has helped the government significantly from their ability to mop up more money for their the schemes that they have launched, right? So let's go previous. So you see dividend and profit. Focus on dividend and profit. The focus, the dividend and profit. The earlier projection was in the February 2024 budget was 2.16 lakh crores, and this year the number has been projected as 2.98 lakh crores, right? 2.89 lakh crores, right? So after having looked at this, let's look at the another number, expenditure details. Now let's look at subsidy details, then we will look at the expenditure details. Now subsidy is also very, very important. Why it is important? Because it directly adds to your fiscal deficit increase. Now if you look at the subsidy, the current budget, the total major subsidy, and I picked up from this document. I'll show you the document where this number is available. You can go here in this document and you will find, and some place, yeah, look at this number, subsidy, fertilizer, food, petroleum. Here the number is there. So from there I picked up the number. And since I do not have breakup of all the numbers, like nutrients based subsidy number is not available, so I have plugged all the fertilizer subsidy under the banner of urea. So this is 1.64 lakh crores. Food subsidy is 2.05 lakh crores, which is 0.62% of the GDP. This is 0.5% of the GDP, and the total major subsidy is 1.16% of the GDP of the current budget announcement. And now if I go in the February budget, the February budget number is what? Is 31st May 2024. Yeah, 31st May 2024. If I go next, yeah. So there has been there is not much change. You see, the number is almost similar in nature. And why it is like that, I really don't know. Maybe there is a totaling error. No, how can it be? Because I this number, let me just go ahead and have a look, to 3.81 lakh crores. Where is it? Where the number is? I might have committed a mistake or may not have committed a mistake. Let's see. It is 2.51 plus 2.72 plus 0.6 that is how much it is, 0.006. It is 2.51, then we have got 2.72. Oh no, it is 0.06. How much the number is? There must be some. Let me pause the video here. Yeah, I'm back. Actually, what happened was that the app was not updated. The file was updated, the app was not updated. So if you look at the March 31st, 2024 number, the subsidy number, you will see that this number was 4.13 lakh crores. And if I do next, then you will see the number has been reduced to by 3.18 lakh crore, which is 1.16% of the GDP. Now earlier the number was 1.14% of the GDP. So where there has been a drop, let's look at the drop. The food subsidy is still maintained at 2.05 lakh crores, and the earlier number was 2.12 lakh crores. There has been a slight decrease in food subsidy. And fertilizer subsidy, if you add this to 0.6 plus 1.29, so 0.6 plus 1.29, it comes out to be 1.89. So if I go next, so you'll see that the number has decreased by from 1.89, it has gone down to 1.64. So overall, the government is trying to curtail. So this is a very important thing, by the way. The government is trying to curtail subsidy, and this is also going to be a risk, because there has been a lot of problems from the point of view of farms, and there could be some systemic risk on petroleum. The petroleum prices are currently low. If something happens, this number can go haywire. So if I look at the previous years, you will see how the subsidy numbers have changed. See, on 31st March 2023, the subsidy numbers was 5.22% to 5.22 lakhs, which is 1.94% of the GDP. Petroleum subsidy is still low, and if I go and back in time, see, look, in 31st March 2024, both food subsidy and petroleum subsidy was high, and with overall subsidy was very, very high. And if I go previous, you see petroleum was still higher and the overall subsidy numbers were low. And then 2019 petroleum was low, 2018 petroleum was low, 2017 if I go, I think that is up to which I have data. So what I want to say is that there is a risk because of petroleum subsidy and something systemic happening which may push the subsidy bill. Now let's look at the expenditure detail, because this is going to be very, very interesting. So expenditure, if you'll notice that again I will do year end, and what I will do is I will first choose the capital expenditure. So if you look at capital expenditure numbers, and if I go straight here, let me not do year end, I will do month end. Let's do month end, and I go straight here to the end of the time index, which is 86. So here I see 31st March 2025, which is the budgetary estimate of this number. So these are all capital expenditure, top 15 item. You can increase the items from here. You can increase it. So as you increase, the numbers will go higher till 25, because I have not made it till 25, because beyond which the screen will get cluttered. So you will notice is that the number, the total expenditure number, the capital expenditure number, because these are only 18 items, therefore it adds up to 10.97 lakh crores. But if you add all the capital expenditure of all the departments, it will add up to 11.11 lakh crores. So you will see that the DOT, the government has not done any change in any of the line items on capital expenditure. So if I go previous, you will find that these numbers will change, except for few, very marginal changes. You see, like economic affairs, capital, there has been a mild change. If I go previous, see, there has been a transfer to state, there has been a mild change. So if I go next, you will find that transfer to state actually is a significant change. It is now 1.62, and earlier it was how much? It was 1.42. So the government has kept the number 11.11 lakh crores, but they have done some tweaking here. But the two main items, the road transport and railways, they have not changed anything. They have tweaked with the DOT's. I think DOT capital expenditure number has remained same. So if you go here, the DOT still is 0.84 lakh crores, and here also 0.84 lakh crores. So the economic affairs capital expenditure has gone down, and it has got transferred to transfer. So I think that is the jugglery the government of India has done. Again, you can play with this, whatever. Now let's do the revenue expenditure, because revenue expenditure is also very important to look at what had happened to revenue expenditure. Now revenue expenditure, let's go to the summary. Account summary to get a feel, because I forgot the number. What was the revenue expenditure number? So revenue expenditure is how much? It is 37.09 lakh crores. So let's go to expenditure detail again, and let's go to revenue expenditure. So let's do the revenue expenditure here. So here you'll find that interest payment numbers have got, as I told you, slightly decreased, which is again a risk. You see, earlier number was 11.9 lakh crores. Now the number has decreased to 11.60 lakh crores. So there are a lot of risky element in this budget, which I do not know how the government is going to manage. Defense services, the number is number one. The previous budget was same. They have not changed anything. Here also the number is same. You see, the number is same. Food and public distribution numbers, previous budget, same. Here also the number is same, 2.13 lakh crores. Rural development, in the previous budget, 1.78 lakh crores. Here also 1.78. Fertilizer, if you see, 1.64 lakh crores, again 1 point. Revenue in the Department of Economic Affairs, there has been slight change here. You see, 1.52 lakh crores become 1.51 lakh crores. Defense pension, no change. Police, agriculture, and let's look at agriculture. Yeah, agriculture, see, 1.17 lakh crores, it has been increased to 1.22 lakh crores. Like that, you can play with this, right? Because this is just available in the website. I have fully updated with numbers, and you can play with this and you can figure out what has happened in the overall budget. Now, let's look at one more thing, financing details, means how the government is financing their fiscal deficit, which is also important to look at. Now, as I told you, the fiscal deficit number is how much? 16.13 lakh crore, which is 4.9% of the GDP. And the earlier previous fiscal deficit number was 16.85 lakh crore, which was 5.12% of the GDP, right? Now, this number may slightly change here and there because the GDP numbers, may be a little bit, nominal GDP number may be a little bit here and there, because the government number is, I think, slightly lower, right? I don't recall it, or maybe same. I don't know exactly the number. Domestic financing. So there are two buckets on which the financing is happening: external financing and the domestic financing. So if you look at external financing, it is very, very marginal. 0.16 lakh crores in the earlier budget, in the February budget. And now the number is same, right? Domestic financing number was earlier in the earlier budget of February 2024, number was 16.7 lakh crores. Now the number has gone down because the fiscal deficit has reduced, 15.97 lakh crores. But whatever is there, the main is the market borrowing. The market borrowing in the current budget is 16.63 lakh crores, and the previous February 2024 budget was 12.25 lakh crore. So friend, I think I have spent enough time, and you can play with this tool, whatever you want to see, you can see. But summary of the discussion is that there are lot of systemic risk in this budget, especially the interest payment and the subsidy. It is very difficult to project that interest payment is going to remain the same level which the government has projected. I do not know how they have made the projection when there is no way to make any prediction on decrease of policy rate, because inflation is very, very high, and it is going to continue to remain very high. Food inflation is very high. So that's very important to know. The other important thing is subsidy. I do not know whether the government will be able to contain the subsidy numbers to the level that they have projected, right? Which is quite, I would say, optimistic number. Because 3.18 lakh crores, they have reduced the food subsidy, and the previous budget, the number was high. If you see the previous budget number, the number was high. Look at this number. The number was high in the March 2024 budget. So, but they have kept the February numbers, right? But the number was high. Anyway, friends, I will close on this on this note, and you can have a look at this tool, and you can decide for yourself what kind of visibility you have, because it is very difficult to explore each and every line item from this in this short period of time, which I am basically recording this video. And I'll hope that you will be able to find out more insight with time, as time progresses, and in future days when you are able to go deep dive into the budget document. I also have not been able to go and deep dive into the budget document, so I really don't know exactly each and every line items, and I will keep on reading, and I'll let you know as I find out more information and insight from the budget document going forward in a future video. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in a future video. Thank you very much.